Hey, what's up, guys? This is Eddy Miranda, owner and founder of Men's Physique News, and we are continuing our road to Olympia interviews. And today, who we have is a 3-year veteran. He received his pro card at Team U actually 3 years ago, and it's going to be his first year stepping onto the Olympia stage after he won the Kentucky Pro at the end of last year. Welcome to the show, Matt. How's everything, dude?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Feeling good. A couple more weeks to Olympia. You know?
So, like what I said, you're a 3-year pro, and this is your first time going to Olympia. How's your feeling? How's your excitement going into the show?
I mean, I'm really excited. I've been grinding. I've been pretty consistent. Over my not even pro career, but my amateur career too. I've always been in the first call out. Always been in that top five, top six in any pro show I've ever done. So I just knew it was going to happen eventually. Just had to keep pushing. So and now I'm here. So I'm going all out. See what I can do.
Now, like what you said, you're usually a really good competitor. You're usually on a first call out. And you've done your first 2 years. Now, last year you went in and you did 3 shows. You did Dallas Europa, and you also did Mount High as well. I believe you did a show before that. I don't remember.
Yeah, I did Orlando Europa.
Okay, so those 3 shows, you actually did pretty well on those shows. And ending the season in 2017, after the shows and not getting Olympia qualified. What was your thought, or what was your strategy going into 2018?
Well, we sat down and we me and Omar, my coach, talked about a few things I needed to work on. Bring a little bit more size, a little bit more condition. We did that we definitely brought a lot more size to Kentucky, but I still feel like we didn't nail the conditioning like we needed to. So we'll definitely we're gonna come in even bigger, and we're gonna nail the conditioning even more. So that was the goal.
So, like what you said, you did the 3 shows at the beginning of the year. You went to Kentucky. You got your first place.
Yes.
Now this was before the whole point system that got affected.
Yes.
So you automatically got qualified. What was your feeling after the Kentucky Muscle? I got qualified for the Olympia. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh man, yeah, I wasn't expecting it, because I saw the the list before the show came out, so I was like, wow, and it was actually kind of crazy the way the show. I mean, they had us out there for a while, and I started out all the way to the wing and slowly worked my way to the middle. I think it's because I timed my pump, the carb up, everything perfectly to where I didn't go flat. So that was really important. But I was on cloud 9. I was actually planning on doing Ferrigno and the Tournament of Champions, but after I won that show, I was like, I need to sit down and take a long break, so I could bring my best to Olympia. There's no point. I mean, I already qualified, I was already going, so that was what I needed. I needed that break.
Yeah, so like what you said, you got qualified. Now you have this long break. You've been able to rest. You've been able to do it. Now, what steps have you taken to improve your physique going into this year's Olympia?
Well, we need to bring out my shoulders a little bit more. My back is always one of my strong points, so didn't really need to do much, but definitely shoulders. Bring up my upper chest in a little bit more, and we've been able to do that a lot as well. I'm sitting 10 pounds heavier than I was for Kentucky, so I've obviously put on a lot of muscle for this.
Now, and you said your coach is Omar.
Yes.
I know he's very strategic. He's very on point with what with what he has. So, what was your strategy? I don't know if you had like a 16-week prep or a 12-week prep going into the show, but what's your strategy, or what's the mindset going into this?
So we started at actually 12. Usually I do 16, but we started at 12. I lean out pretty fast, so that's never really the issue. The issue is just holding on to that muscle as the prep goes, and keep feeding me, and being ready early, which I'm almost ready right now. I should be pretty ready by this Saturday, 3 weeks out, and then we'll make changes and tweaks going into the show. But he wanted us. I think what he wanted for me and a lot of the other guys we have 3 other competitors. I mean, Dre, Ray, and Mike.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to have us ready, pretty early, and so we wouldn't have to really worry about anything else. So I think that was the goal this year as well. So
now, like after the Olympia, I know a lot of people, are already thinking about 2019. The whole point system's already in lock. Everybody saw what happened this year with it all. What's your mindset after the Olympia? Are you wanting to go after points, or are you wanting to take a break?
No, I'm gonna go after points again right away. I'm gonna probably go back to Kentucky again, and try and defend my title there, and then just take it week by week after that and play it by ear. I'm gonna stay pretty ready this year, obviously, because the point system, as you saw this year, I mean, everyone had a grind, man. I mean, all year, and it made it exciting though. You know what I mean? It's like all these great physiques coming to all these different shows. So I'm gonna stay ready, and we'll take it week by week, but I'm gonna jump in as many shows as I can and try and qualify again.
So now talking about strategy with Omar, how long have you been with him? I know a lot of people, go in and out of coaches sometimes. Now, how long have you been with Omar and he's been working with you on your physique?
I think we linked up early of 2015. I remember I was actually deployed in 2014, and I was posting pics, and he had started commenting on them, and I was planning on hitting him up anyway. We linked up, and we hit Junior USA's that year, 2015, and I ended up winning my class and fell short of the overall. So I was really happy about that. We came to Team U and got second, and it was just like kind of history ever since. And we've been able to be very, very consistent with just many different shows. Midwest, East Coast, a very different. All these shows we've been able to be pretty consistent. That's one thing he's always told me is that I've always been able with the mix of physiques and different shows I've done, I've always been able to be up there with any physique or anyone that's in the show. I think that says a lot for me. Is I can pretty much stand, with some of the best, because I have a really unique physique, So, like I said, going into this year's Olympia, I don't really have any, expectations for myself. It's my first Olympia. I'm just trying to bring my absolute best. But I mean, I do feel like I can, if I bring my best, that I will be able to, be up there pretty high in the placings. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
Now switching gears in the sense of, you did do one show at the end of the year, you got qualified, but now going into next year, I know we talked about you're thinking about hitting a few shows, but how would you feel if like, okay, I've only maybe done 3 or 4 shows a year, now I'm going to have to probably do like 7 or 8. Like, how do you feel that would be a toll on your body?
And I've thought about that a lot, and talked a little bit about it with Omar. It's definitely going to have to be a different approach, and you're not really going to have, quote unquote, an off season. You're going to have to stay ready. You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough. But what I would like and plan to do is start with Kentucky and maybe roll into the Arnold. I'm only hitting the bigger shows after this. You know what I mean? So I really kind of want to hit all my shows I'm going to hit within a 4-month span. That way I could, if I make it enough in points, because you probably need like at least 15.
Yeah, you need anywhere from 15 to 20 points to be solid.
You have to. And even then, you're going to be right on the edge. You know what I mean? You never know, especially with, you saw how it went this year. So, I mean, I'm going to need to hit at least maybe like 5-6 shows maybe, you know what I mean? Like I said, I always place pretty consistently, but I'm going to have to, it's going to be a whole different strategy with, picking these shows strategically with, which one has the most points, where's it at, who's showing up, and all that, and you still got to hit them within a decent. You can't just span your shows out like, 5 weeks here and then another 5 weeks you're gonna hit a show. You're gonna have to hit them like 2-3 weeks and like bam, bam, bam.
Exactly.
That's just the way it has to be. You can't keep like peaking months over a time. You're gonna wear them on your body. So and I would like to be done by May with the shows. That way, if I qualify, get a little bit of a break and go for next year's Olympia.
And like what you said you're going to be attacking the bigger shows because from what I've seen, you've hit pretty decent shows, but not those top caliber ones like the Tampa Pro, New York Pro, stuff like that. So is that in your mindset
yes,
to be able to get those?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I've been thinking about New York, Pitt, Tampa, Chicago, all that stuff. I was actually thinking about hitting Chicago and maybe those shows this year, but I want to take a little bit more time to really work on my physique, which I did. But yeah, that's definitely in the works. I'm definitely looking at those ones. And if you can't place well at those ones, what makes you think you should even be staying on the Olympia stage anyway? You know what I mean? So
you know what, like that's the one thing I've been saying. It's for the past 3 years, this is the first year that I would say like everybody on that stage deserves to be on there. You
Yeah,
know,
oh, absolutely.
because they all fought to be up on that stage, you know, versus the years before, it's like, oh, I got qualified, and sometimes it was a cheapy show,
Uh,
you know.
a lot of people don't like the point system, but I mean, a lot of people might not like it, but it works better for where it's going to be a more prestigious stage. I mean, we were having, what, dude, like 35, 38 guys on stage. This is too many.
Yeah.
And some people were just hitting one show and then, bam, they're done. You know what I mean? And then they'd only hit like that same show every year. And you know what I mean? It was getting too much. So with this, you're going to have to hit those bigger shows and get in with those top guys. You're not going to be able to, you know, just sneak in there. You know what I mean? And people want to see us compete. I mean, men's physique is, you know, one of the bigger, you know, we attract a lot of fans. We bring in a lot of, you know, so everyone wants to see these guys compete. So now they're forcing us to compete. So
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna have to do.
Which I think is a good thing. It brings up
it
the
is.
competition, man. It brings up better quality
Yeah.
athletes, man. I think
Yeah.
even though a lot of people hated it, I personally liked it because at the end of the day, it's going to bring a better show for the Olympia.
Oh, for sure. And like we already talked about, you know, those top shows, the Tampa, Chicago, New York, those, like I said, if you're not placing top 5, top 6, top 7 at those shows, you're not really gonna be, you know, Olympia caliber physique. You know what I mean? You need to hit those kind of shows to see where you're standing and stand in front of Steve, you know, and get a good, and that will tell you where you should be standing. You know, do I have to work on my physique? Should I, you know, take a little bit of time off? And, you know, and depending on where I place at those shows, I can make that call and be like, should I keep pushing, or, you know, maybe should I just take a break and, you know, shut down and, you know, come back a little bit later. You know what I mean? So it's a good strategy, and the point system, it works well.
Now, on the Olympia stage, is there anybody on that stage that you feel, man, you know, I've been dying to go up against this guy. I want to see, you know, how I do. Is there any competitors on that stage that you just want to see how you outweigh yourself against them?
Man, I've stood next to a lot of people and done pretty well. Some people I haven't stood next to, Jeremy Potvin, he's very hard to stand next to, so he's my boy too. I haven't competed with him since 2014. Logan, I've stood next to him, and he's obviously, you see how many improvements he's made. I like to stand next to those guys. I like to stand next to the better guys. I see where I'm actually at. You know what I'm saying? Man, all those top guys, yeah. You know, I've stood next to so many people. So, and that's the thing I like about my physique and what I bring is I could stand next to, you know, someone like, you know, maybe Logan Franklin, or I could stand next to someone like Jerry Potvin and kind of fit into both. You know what I mean? And, you know, I have some good size, but also have some good conditioning. I'm not too small, I'm not too big. You know what I mean? So, it'll be interesting to see how this year plays out. It's gonna be a good one. Definitely the best yet to come. You know, with Jeremy Buendia's comeback, you know, you got Ray coming up there, Dre coming up there. It's going to be, as far as I've been telling people and, you know, telling Omar, I'm like, this top 5 can go
anyway.
I mean, it's so interchangeable right now. You're looking at everyone looks good, you know?
I mean, so, and the thing is, it's like everybody has their top 5 picked out, but there's so many.
For in the previous years, you could probably do that, but for this year, it's
hard.
It's hard. Everyone's has been forced to bring their best. So it's, I couldn't even give you a top 5 in any particular order whatsoever.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like, for instance, Ryan Terry, he got 6th last year. He's with Neil now. I mean, dude, he could push somebody out. There's just so many guys, you know, even including yourself. You come in really good, you could be pushing somebody else out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, Ryan Terry, like I said, Ray Dre, Jeremy, Brandon again. He's looking better than ever. You know, it's just Joseph Lee, who actually beat Brandon. He might be coming up there. Dude, you never know. It really just depends on what they look like on show day. You know, if everyone brings their A game on show day, you know, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter what they look like. You know, now it matters what they look like on stage when they're at prejudging at that time. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. But like I said, man, there's a good 10, 12 guys they're going to be in the mix. It's going to be pretty tough. Yeah, man. Interesting to see how it'll go.
I agree, man. I agree. Yeah. Well, it's going to be one hell of a year, bro, and it's a good thing that you're part of it this year, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So, brother, I just want to thank you for your time. Thank you for interviewing with us. Wish you the best on your prep and stepping on the Olympia stage for the first time in your career, man. I know it's an exciting time, and we wish you the best on the road too.
All right, man. Thanks, Eddie. I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man.
All right.